Hey, hi, Simon Trizelian here, voice of reason, and having some sound issues today. This is like the fourth time I've tried to do this video. It's almost as if I don't know, some orbs up there are playing with it or whatever. But anyway, I've been getting a lot of questions about the O negative blood type. Now, this is for entertainment purposes only, okay? And I am not a medical doctor. I am not a scientist. I'm just, former intelligence guys, and that's it. So I've seen some things and done some things, and I have a reasonable perception of things, let's put it that way. I'm also O negative, and so was all my team, and we were chosen because we were O negative. Now, O negative blood group has been around for only 30,000 years. Now, we have two lots of blood. We have the rhesus positive and the rhesus negative. That means that if you have a rhesus positive bloodline, then you post positive for the rhesus monkey gene, which means that you came through Darwinian theory in that, you arose from the apes and became humankind, right? If you post negative, it means that you do not have the rhesus monkey gene, so they have no idea where it comes from. So we are the universal donor. It means that we can give to everyone, but no one can give to us. We make up 8% of the populace. The overall negatives, I think, make up less than 15% of the populace. We were chosen because I was told that the blood group is more receptive to stimulants and more receptive to being manipulated. So I went in at 16 years old, and literally I was 120 pounds soaking wet, and I went to like that in literally 2 weeks. So whether it was human growth hormones or whatever the cocktail they were giving us like 10 injections a day for several months, and it increased our performance. There's absolutely no doubt. I mean, I can do things in the gym now that people half my age can't do. We don't get sick. They do know that the negative bloodline is very resistant to COVID. And that's not me saying that, that's what studies have said. What we do know is that in the studies of chromosome 2, that two of our links in the genome have been fused together. The telomeres have been capped. So that caps us at 120 years. And that says in the Bible as well. Once upon a time, people like Noah, Abraham, Isaac, all that type of thing, they lived to like 700 to 900 years old. So what happened? At some point, we were capped at 120 years old. And that's why we are as we are now. And it's because of the telomeres. So something happened, and it's what they call the missing link, right? So if you look at the Sumerian tablets and the creation story we're told by, the first humans, it says that the Anunnaki took from their T, right, which is the spinal cord, which is where we get the caduceus from, with the wings and the two snakes. The two snakes is the binary helix of our DNA, and the wings are of our spirituality. And the staff in the middle is our spine. Everything comes off of the spine. And they took from the T their essence, their life essence, and injected it into us to give us 5% of their DNA. And it's interesting that we still, to this day, have 95% DNA of the chimpanzee. Yeah. We also have so much in the banana as well. So when humankind says, when the Bible says, I make my man out of the dust of the earth, I make my man out of clay, it means we don't just live here. We were made from the substance. Mr. Spock, even in Star Trek, says, you're a carbon-based life form, Jim, and we are. We're made up of the same stuff. So, I mean, for instance, if you bite your tongue, right, what do you taste? You taste iron, correct? Right? And that's because of the amount of iron in the blood. And this is why magnets work on us. Duh, because the magnets actually circulate the blood around and therefore makes us healthier, right? So, I don't need to be a scientist to tell you this. It's just common sense. So when you taste iron, you think, well, why is there so much iron in the blood? Well, when you're pregnant, you have to take iron tablets because so much iron is then taken up by the placenta, which feeds the baby, which actually gives it life, right? So But what is interesting, when I did some research on this, the percentage of iron ore in the earth is exactly the same percentage as the amount of iron in the human body, and that is true for most of the other compounds. All right, so you know, in the scale of all the different chemical compounds, we have all of them in our body, apart from 3. Okay, so we have calcium in our body, we have potassium in our body, all of these things, and they're found usually to the same percentage. Now, the only things that are not found naturally in the body are the 3 things that will do us harm, which is mercury, uranium, and lead. Right? They don't occur naturally in the blood. So that seems to be by design to me, if you look at it from a logical point of view. So if you were to make a being from the materials that you have, why would you put into that being the compounds that would actually harm that being? You would just leave them out, right? And that's what seems to have happened. So it's an interesting thing. There's plenty of stuff on the internet about the O negative bloodline. I know that it really is an interesting aspect. It's obviously it's molded me to who I am, and a lot of other people obviously saw that as well, and they were military people that understood that you could actually enhance performance with certain blood groups, and that certain blood groups are resistant to certain viruses, and as we've seen, if you were going to create a bunch of like super soldiers that would never get sick and would be resistant to things like viruses like COVID or bird flu or anything like this, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah. So that really explains it to me. But as I stress, I am not a medical doctor. I'm just a former SF guy that had an interesting experience, and all I'm doing is just telling you stories now. That's it. So if you like this, if you feel it's got value, then please, like, subscribe, share, do all the normal things. But if you like hearing what I have to say, I've got a lot more to say. Trust me, I have a lot more to say. And I will speak to you soon. This is Simon Shazelian, out to you.